Okay then, so welcome back to another episode on the channel. Tonight we are looking at Hyliion again because of course we are starting to hopefully see the price go up, and of course this is something which we have been looking for a long time. On top of that, we're going to give a bit more of an in-depth analysis this time, looking at some of the financials as well, giving a bit of a prediction on what might happen in the future as well. So if that does sound good, please do like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. You can see on screen we're over halfway there now. So if you could just help us by pushing us over that line of 1,000, it wouldn't go amiss. So yeah, let's just have a quick look. So obviously Hyliion, the electric truck manufacturer, they also make hybrid powertrains. This is the company which we are talking about tonight, and of course we're just going to start off by having a look at what the price has already done. So if we just have a quick look down to the 1 day, we can see that we've actually finished closer to the bottom than where we actually opened. So we started out on 23.17, ending up on 22.58. Interesting to see, to be honest, because we have had quite the positive week. Obviously it's only a small drop down in comparison to the rise which we have had over the week. That's over about 25% gain over the past week, so not bad at all when we're looking at what has happened over the past month. So honestly, looking about from the 30th or 31st of October, we are actually starting to see a bit of a recovery now. The last day or two has been a bit questionable on which direction this recovery is actually going to go from now. Is it done, and is it going to go back down, or is this just a day where it's gone down and it's going to go back up on the next day? We'll just have to see what happens when the market opens on the Monday. But obviously in comparison to what we have already seen in the past 6 months, we are still looking at a big decline, because of course we had this huge sell-off from about $50, where we sold off at 53, 51 to be specific and precise. Ever since then, really, we haven't recovered. Of course, we are looking at a slight uptick towards the end of the graph, but we'll just have to see where we sat at on Monday morning. I think we will actually be in the positive, but that's just my opinion. Also, whilst I'm here, might as well say we have a Discord server now, so if you want to come and join us on Discord, it's completely free to do so. Come and do it. It's absolutely fun. We talk about all kinds of stuff, so link is in the description, and it's completely free. So yeah, another thing which I want to talk about is a few of these quarterly financials. So I did actually try to find an earnings per share figure, couldn't find that because not really anyone is reporting on this, but we can look at what we can find, and what we can find is things like net income. Oh, and actually there is actually an EPS figure down there. So EPS minus 17, not that bad. I mean, we have seen worse on the channel. But obviously this company, like a few of the others, is still in debt. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously sometimes you do need to take out that loan and whatnot just to help the company in the future. Sometimes it's not bad to be in debt now to look at something towards the future, but we'll just have to see how that one plays out in the really long term. Anyway, the operating income was minus 3.43 million. Obviously that's due to the debt and whatnot which I talked about earlier. The net change in cash, very interesting to see, that's negative at minus 2.72 million, and cash on hand is actually 3.3 million. So let's compare this to the previous month's figures. So we can see that the net income was actually slightly better, although technically it's still minus 4 million. It was minus 5.56 million the previous quarter or month. So you can see that's obviously a lot more. Diluted EPS was also lower or higher depending on which way you view it, at minus 0.23. We had a operating income of minus 3.36 million, and of course that's slightly lower than what we sat at now, slightly higher rather, because it is a negative number. The net cash change was actually minus 259k. That's quite significantly lower than what we're at now, and the cash on hand was significantly higher again at 6 million, just over 6 million. So we don't actually have any figures for 2019, so unfortunately we can't look at those. What we should do is look at some actual analyst opinions on the next 12 months. Now unfortunately at the minute we only have 2 analysts looking at this. I'm sure this will change in the future, as it generally speaking does. 2 though, we can get a bit of an understanding of what these 2 think. Both of them are saying hold actually, so not necessarily a buy, but if you already have it, it's not really something to worry about in their opinion. I would say this is going to be a volatile one, so not for everybody, especially if you're going for something like a CFD or something where you're risking a lot. Not really the one to go for, especially with what we have seen over the past few months, and the next few months will also be unpredictable, but that is just my opinion. we are still looking at an over 126% increase over the year. But looking at what the two analysts say for the next 12 months, we're looking at a median, which is the one in the middle, so that's a fairly reasonable target. That's $24.5. We're looking at a high of about 27 and a low of 22. So while the median, the one in the middle, represents is an 8.50% increase from the last price of 22.58. So obviously, looking at this, we can see on the high end and the low end. On the low end, we're looking at minus 2%, minus 2.6% to be exact. On the high end, we're looking at plus 20%, and in the middle, looking at about 8 to 10%. So generally speaking, on the market, we tend to look for about a 20% increase per year. That's considered to be great. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at potentially looking at that with the future for this company, but I think it's interesting to see the way that a lot of opinions have changed towards this one. Generally speaking, in the past few months and years, people were looking at this in a very positive light, saying it's going to be, plus 100% whatnot in the next few years. And I honestly think that does depend on how well the truck sells in 2021, but we'll cover that at the time. That's a long way in the future. But I think it's very interesting to see the way people's opinions have changed on this one. People were seeing big growth potentially for this company, but of course the merger went through and whatnot. So the hype and the catalyst has kind of died down for a bit until we see some more products, some new earnings figures, and some new EPS figures. So of course I think that is really what we need to tip this one over the edge and back onto big growth. So we'll just have to see how that one plays out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed what you did see tonight. If you did, please do leave a like and subscribe, trying to get to 1,000. Feel free to come join us in Discord, and if you don't want to do that, of course feel free to watch any other videos on the channel. Thank you so much for your time. Goodbye for now.